Welcome. You have just been ushered past security and into the private meeting of the most lucrative and misunderstood industry in the entire world, real estate investing. What you're about to hear rarely leaves closed doors, because we're taking a deep dive into the anatomy of deals, battle-tested strategies, and the psychological makeup of sellers, understanding what pressures them, what drives them, and what makes them say yes. Most people only see the surface level stuff, but we operate underneath it. I'm your host, Dayton, alongside Keith and special guests, and this is the First Deal Podcast.
All right. Welcome back. We just found out that we were live on our last episode in 12 Facebook groups, as well as my Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, and all of the social medias. However, I think that it didn't work. So it was exclusive viewing only for the people who follow us on our podcast. Welcome back.
Yep. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the First Deal Podcast. And yeah, hopefully that won't happen again, that this will just be fully recorded and then we won't be going live. I don't think so, because it says recording up top that you're here. So Keith, what do you wish someone had told you before you closed your first deal? The stuff that doesn't make it into the books.
Ooh. I'm going to answer this in a off-kilter way, because as much as I wish they had told me this, I'm glad that they didn't.
Okay.
I wish somebody had told me how hard this business was going to be. This business is brutal. It is very difficult. Even when things are good, things are difficult. This is like if you're a therapist, I imagine it is just draining to be a therapist. You have to sit there and listen to other people's problems all day long. My God, that sounds terrible to me. Same thing with a first responder. All you do is see people bleeding out in a car accident and having a stroke, or like what you see people at their lowest of lows. Similarly, when you're talking to people who are going through divorce, or they've inherited a house, or they're going bankrupt, or they're getting foreclosed on, or they haven't been paying their taxes and the county's going to strip their house away from them, or they have cancer and they need to pay for their chemotherapy treatments, or they have a tenant that's just taking them through the ringer, not paying them, and they're destroying the house. I mean, you are dealing with people at their lowest of lows. So even when things are rocking awesome in your business, it's still fairly draining when you are the man on the phones. And I'm good on the phones. Therefore, I elected to stay on the phones for a hot minute. And that is emotionally taxing. But even one step further than that, when you start this business, you're wearing every hat in the books. You have to learn about entity structuring and taxable liabilities, and you have to do, contract law. You have to become an expert in marketing, and you have to understand sales and negotiation and the psychology of selling. You have to understand how to analyze deals. You have to know market cycles. You have to understand how to structure different deals, both entrants and exits. You're constantly frantically raising money, whether it's private money or hard money, or getting a DSCR loan, or trying to qualify for a conventional Fannie or Freddie product. You're hiring and training team members and firing and promoting. You're building SOPs in your business. You're leading team meetings. If I haven't already overwhelmed you, let me just say that what I've just mentioned is probably only 10% of the crap that you're going to have to learn. And you can't half-ass anything, and you can't be bad at anything, because if you are, your business will fail. And so this keeps you up at night, and it wakes you up in the morning, and you go to bed thinking about it, and it takes up your time and mental capacity. And even when you want to be spending time with your family, you are mentally going to be concerned of something else. Those are all the unsexy things about this business. It is way harder to be a business owner, and like genuinely, everybody has probably heard this. Most businesses fail within the first 5 years. They don't fail within the first 5 years, they will within the first 10 years. Most people are not cut to be an entrepreneur. They're not cut out to be an entrepreneur. And the people who try to be an entrepreneur, most of them fail. So we're talking about like 1% of 1% of businesses succeed, and 1% of 1% of people will actually own a business. So if you think that you are a part of that 1/1000th of a percent, you're probably wrong. Like statistics say, you're probably wrong. And it's way harder than you think it is. So now that I've been totally discouraging for a solid 5 minutes, here's how to combat that. Number one, it starts with your mindset. Your bank account will never outgrow your mindset. So if you have a poor state of mind, your bank account will never outgrow your mindset. If you've capped yourself with limiting beliefs, your business can't grow past this. And so overcoming those things is probably the most important thing. Mindset is first. Education is second. If you don't know what to do, then you can't do it. No matter how hard you want to try to do this thing, if you don't know what the heck you're doing, you're toast. So educating yourself is the next thing. Then it goes to execution, which is super important, that you're okay with the fear of failure as well as the fear of the unknown. Those are the two things that handicap, if not paralyze people, as well as perfectionism. Just you need to be okay getting really uncomfortable. You need to become okay taking massive action and failing and looking like a fool in front of others. Then you need to build SOPs. If you're going to do something more than 3 times, you need to create a standard operating procedure around it for you as well as for others. And then at that point, you can become a successful solopreneur. I believe that those are the characteristics of a successful one-man show. If it's ever going to get past you, now you need to start growing yourself as a leader. If you cannot lead yourself, then you can expect other people to lead you. I mean, you cannot expect other people to follow you. You can't lead others if you cannot effectively lead yourself. So now we need to start growing your capacity. We kind of go back to mindset and education, going through those things, but now at a level where you can impact the next generation of folks within your company. And again, going back to REI Automated, I would like to think that I am the person and I have the company that I wish I had 10 years ago. That's literally my stated mission. We have everything that you need in order to set you up for success. And we've helped hundreds of people, more than 400 people, do their first deal. So even though we're a baby business, a budding business of 5 years, I've been in business for 10 years. I've had multiple businesses. I've sold businesses. I have yet to have a business actually fail. My wife has a business. She's had that business for 7 years. So we are the statistical anomaly in what we do. And building that foundation is so important. Just like when you're building a house, the foundation is the first and most important element. And if you start building the house and you don't have a foundation, it's kind of like the parable of building your house on the sand versus building your house on the rock. Yep. You have to build a strong foundation for your business, just as you build a foundation for a house. And if you don't build your business foundation strong, it's just going to get wiped out the moment things get hard.
Yep. And things will get hard. It's hard to get through life without things getting hard. And one of the things I hear from at least my generation, Gen Z, is that at least online, the rhetoric is that things have gotten harder when they should have gotten easier. But I think to myself, like throughout human history, they didn't even have spices to put on, I don't know, porridge that they
Yeah,
got from
we've
washing
just
the
gotten
water so
softer.
well. Yeah, we've gotten more comfortable, and it's like, really? And then I think about my
Yeah.
grandpa, because he's 93 and he survived, because he was born in the Great Depression, survived World War II, the Cold War, the Vietnam War, um, the advancement from horse and buggy to self-driving cars, and I'm like, holy,
Yeah,
like
dude. He's
it's
been
like just
through
exploded in the
it.
past years.
He's been through it.
But yeah, even past few years, it's just things have exploded. But it's just a while ago, it was super hard. Most of human history was hard, and
Yep.
it's just always going to be that way. This is more of a self-talk now for me than it is for the
That's why it's
podcast.
important to work on your mindset. I mean, it's all going to come down to that. If you feel like life is hard, good. I think that it's supposed to be like on a spiritual level. I think that life is not supposed to be like heaven. That's why it's one is heaven, one is earth.
Mm-hmm.
It's not meant to be easy. It's not meant to be like, oh yeah, I want to live the rest of my life here. No, this freaking sucks, and I'm ready to die at any point in time. By the way, I know that sounds super weird, but I mean that sincerely. I don't think that we're meant to be comfortable here, and you will never feel like you are entirely whole. And I think that we are meant to feel that way as humans. You should always strive. Let's take this to a practical application now. You should always strive to be bettering yourself for the good of yourself and others, specifically the ones that are close to you. I think that that's our mission in life.
Yep, I would agree. But now that we've gotten the whole spiritual side covered,
Yeah, thanks for coming
I
to
think
my
for the next little
preaching
bit,
TED Talk.
back to the real estate questions now. Is it
Okay.
better to start with a single family home or jump straight into a small multifamily? And what is your honest take?
It depends on if your goal, it depends on your goal, and it depends on your situation. Yeah, cool. So let me give you the analogy that I like to give. If I talk to person A and they're here, like let's in front of my face, for all of you who are watching this podcast visually, in front of my face, let's go back to the graph paper that we had in grade school with all the lines going vertically and horizontally. And you have person A who's plotted right here on the graph, and you have person B that's plotted here on the graph, and they both tell me that they want to get here. Keith, I want to make $500,000 net profit this year. Cool. I'm going to tell this person to go 3 up and 1 to the right. And I'm going to tell this person to go 3 up and 1 to the left. Well, I just told these two individuals two totally different things. Does that mean that I'm crazy? No, they have a different point of origination and they want to go to the same point of destination. So in order for me to effectively lead people to where they want, just the same as Google Maps, we have to have 2 points. We have to have a point of origination and we have to have a point of destination. And then we can tell you how to get there. So this is what any good coach or mentor is going to do, is first establish where you are. What have you done? What is your history? What is your desire? What have you tried, right? Where are you going? What does the future look like? Once we understand both of these, now we can effectively guide you. And so for some people, I would tell them jump straight into multifamily. It would be very beneficial for you to get into, maybe it's not even duplexes, triplexes, or quadplexes. Maybe it's in the multifamily sector of just, dude, go get a small multifamily, 20 units, 15 units, 12 units, 50 units. This is all small multifamily. And it's fairly easy to get into. And it's really easy. Once you understand the concept, there's almost no complexity that can derail you.
Okay.
It's really cool. However, what you're getting into more there is, number one, institutional financing or creative financing when it comes to owner financing. That's very, very normal in the multifamily space. And it's typically done for cash flow reasons. You're not going to take a 20 unit multifamily and renovate it to the nines in order to flip it. Like, nobody gives a flying crap about your beautiful renovation with, quartz countertops and rose gold accents and all of your furniture. Nobody cares. Like, that was a stupid thing to do. So you're not going to be flipping these, like doing huge renovations is what I mean by flipping. You're not going to be doing these huge renovations. You're really going to be doing it for the cash flow and potentially the equity as well, of course. Totally different dynamic. Also, these are going to be farther apart. The reason being is there's like 90,000 more units on the single family side that you're going to be able to take advantage of than on the multi-family side. Because there's less owners, right? There's less owners of multifamily than there is single family. So it's what do they call that? It's a magnitude, an order of magnitude larger. The opportunity is much less in multifamily. Why? Because you're dealing with real estate professionals. You're dealing with investors. You're dealing with people who are fiscally responsible, meaning they know how to operate a balance sheet. They're regularly looking at their P&L. They're making sure that they're paying their freaking mortgage. Whereas in the single family space, this is prevalent. People are not taking care of their finances. They are not fiscally responsible. They're not investors. They are not financially savvy. They're not astute individuals, much less business owners. And so there's way more opportunity and there's more owners. There's less opportunity on the multifamily space because people are knowledgeable about the traps to avoid when it comes to taxes and divorce and death and things like this. There's less owners and they're more knowledgeable. So it depends on where you are and it depends on where you're going. But that's my answer is to you, is that it depends on where you are and where you're going. But those are the pros and cons of each.
Yep. From this point onward, all questions that have dependent answers, just go right into them. I hereby declare that all those questions will now be answered forthright.
What exactly does that mean?
It means you don't have to preface with, it depends.
Okay. All right, cool.
I mean, you're going to do it anyways, but I'm just stating it for the record.
It's actually how I've been trained to answer questions.
So, for my final question for this episode, how do you know when you're actually ready to buy your first investment property versus just feeling ready? Or is there a difference?
Yeah. The honest to God answer is you're never going to feel ready. You will likely feel sick to your stomach the first time, no matter how long you've prepped or how much training or education or partnership or handholding you have. You're going to feel sick to your stomach. Just like you're never ready to have your first baby. For anybody who's had babies before, everybody knows what I'm talking about. When you found out you are about to you just got pregnant and you're about to have your first kid, you're like, dude, I've screwed up. Like, I don't feel like I'm ready for this. Matter of fact, you go through the whole 9 months, you go to the hospital, you give birth, and as you're walking outside of the hospital carrying your newborn child, every single parent is going to agree with me. You're like, I can't believe that they just let me leave. I mean, I didn't have to take a class. There's no test. Do they realize that I'm like not even a grown ass adult yet? Like, this is my first adulting thing that I've ever done. I can barely take care of myself, much less this brand new, little human that can't even do anything by itself. And then over the next year and a half, that little thing is going to try to, it's just a little terrorist inside your house. They're constantly trying to commit suicide, doing the stupidest things you've ever seen in your whole entire life. And you come to realize, I'm never ready for anything. I'm not ready to have kids. I'm not ready. Some people, I was ready to get married, but some people are like, man, I don't know if I'm ready for this. And you start to have second thoughts on whether or not you're ready to get married. Again, I don't feel that way. I was like more than ready to get married to my wife. But people have told me like, dude, you're crazy to think that. So some people aren't ready to get married. I don't think that anybody's ready to have their first child. I don't think that anybody is ready to do their first deal. Get over yourself. We all felt that way.
All right. That's a great answer. And I really love the enthusiasm about it too. You're never ready. Just do it.
Yeah.
But we're going to end it there, folks. Keith, any last words?
Oh, hey, if you have any questions, I said no, but I do. If you have any questions, leave them in the channel and we'll write them down. Dayton will ask it to me, and maybe we'll even tag you if I answer it.
That's
cool.
Right.
Have a good one, guys. See you guys on the next one.
That's a wrap on this episode of the First Deal podcast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to us on so you never miss an episode. We drop new content regularly, and every single one is built to move the needle forward for you. In fact, you can usually find that content right here. That's all for now. We'll see you on the next one, my friends.